What's going on, guys? Welcome back down to the basement. I'm in a nostalgic kind of mood sitting here playing RE3. You know, Resident Evil has a lot of memories to it for me, especially in my teenage years. And I'm going to talk about the day I met my best friend, Slug. Slug King is his Xbox name, but I gave him that name. His original name is Jeff. His real name is Jeff, but I started calling him Slug, and I'll get into that because that has something to do with Resident Evil also. So, back in, say, 2004, well, let me cover, a little bit of... Originally, I am from Ohio. I live in Michigan. I am from Ohio, Cleveland. I've been there. I've lived there, born and raised. And I am from a place called Cleveland Heights, which is, typical wealthy kind of background people, large mansions and stuff like that. And I moved over to the west side, which is a more diverse side of town. Lots of bars, lots of alternative things, and there's not a lot of robotic kind of people around there. It's really chill. There's all kinds there. And I didn't know this at the time. I was a young teenager. And I had come over to the west side, and I was mad. I didn't have any friends over there. I didn't know anybody, and all I had was a Sega Genesis. And I had a Sega Genesis with 3 games to it, and that's all I had. I didn't even have a PlayStation. I didn't even have anything worthwhile that I really loved playing. Not saying that the Genesis is not worthwhile, but I didn't have, my PlayStation, my 64, all that was gone. I had lost it all. It stopped working. So I moved over to the west side on my street. I'll never forget, West 89th Street. And I had dropped out of school because I had to take care of my sister with diabetes. My mom was working to support both of us, me and my sister, and her dad was doing some kind of shirt business in Florida, but I don't know, that didn't pan out too well, so I dropped out of school to take care of my sister. And one of my favorite things I loved doing was I used to have a TV that I used to drag out onto the front porch, and I would game through the summer. I would just game outside all day long and just watch my sister and my cousins play, which my little cousins used to live upstairs from us. And I had gotten a new PS1, and I'll never forget it. I got a copy of Resident Evil 2 for the first time. Resident Evil 2. It was just Claire's disc. I didn't have Leon's. It was just Claire's. Because I used to see the commercials for it, back in 1998 in elementary school, and it used to scare the fuck out of me. But as I came back older, I'm like, man, why was I so scared of this? I need to play this, man. I need to play this and see why I'm so damn scared of it. So then I got that, and I had Tomb Raider, and I had, I forgot what else I had, but I had 3 games for the new PS1 I had bought. Oh, Twisted Metal 2. Twisted Metal 2, that's the other one. And one day, I see my best friend. I just don't know it yet. I see my best friend next door with this other kid named Omar. And let me tell you, this Omar kid, he was a fucking prick. Now, yes, Slug's a white guy, glasses. He's a kind of a chubby kid back then. He had glasses, and I was playing Resident Evil 2 on the front porch, blasting away with my submachine gun. And my friend at the time, Slug, he hears it. He goes, "Hey, man, he's fucking playing Resident Evil 2. He's like, "How could you tell?" He said, "I know the sound of that gun." So then not even an hour or so, he comes on the porch. He's like, "Hey, man, is that RE2? I'm like, yeah. And usually, I'd be a little weirded out about somebody just coming on the porch like, "Hey, man, is that Resident Evil?" I'm like, yeah, but no, something about, him coming on the porch, it just felt right. He's like, "Yeah, man, I got the codes for that," or whatever. I'm like, "Oh, no shit. Codes?
Fucking A! Unlimited machine gun."
So I had him pull up a chair. That's like the easiest friend I ever made in my life, Now, this Omar prick I didn't really like that much because he always thought he was tough, and he tried to start trouble for no goddamn reason. And one day he tried to have his friend and him come over and attack me, or for me calling him out on it, because he's fucking just a troublemaker, and he's just annoying. He's just one of those guys that have just an itchy, annoying fucking aura, and you don't want them around you because everything that comes out of their mouth is like, shit. I'm like, pretty soon, I'm gonna put some toilet paper in your mouth eventually, God. And I remember he tried to rip me off. He wanted me. He had a PS2, and I was really, really desperate. I really wanted a PS2. I really wanted something to game on because, again, one of my other PS1s had broken down, and I really wanted a new PS2. And he was saying, well, I got a PS2, and I didn't believe him. So he showed me this PS2 without a cord or a memory card or a fucking controller. And he goes, you can have this PS2 for a TV, a DVD player, and $15. Do I look like fucking Yogi the Bear to you? Are you kidding me? No. No, I don't want your fucking PS2. And then he got mad because I didn't want to do the deal. And my friend Slugs just sitting there like, who the fuck would do that? Who would ever fucking do that shit? That's stupid. And he had my back right there. He's just like, nobody's going to give you a fucking TV, a DVD player, and some money for a PS2 with no game or chords in it. But that guy was he's just a fucking rip-off artist. And I wouldn't doubt it if he thieved that from some poor kid's basement whose grandmother is sick or something. The guy was just fucking oily and leech. And so we sitting there, I'm playing RE2, he's watching me, and then he's like, man, come on across the street, I got some codes for you, I can get the codes for this and that. And the minute he brought those back and we sat down and played all night, that basically made the friendship. Resident Evil 2 and the whole Resident Evil anything, it just made our friendship, because after that, during the summers, we would be on the front porch playing Resident Evil 2, and then 3, and then 1, and then 4 when he brought his GameCube over, and then 0. It was crazy. It's like, it's amazing how playing video games, it helps you find some of your best friends sometimes. And this was the one time it happened with me. The one rare time. Usually you play games with people nowadays, it's just online for GTA or something, and then they disappear on you, and then they're offline for like 6-7 months and you don't hear from them anymore. Now, as for the name Slug, why I gave him that, we were playing Resident Evil 3, and he's just like, we were in the little costume store, because she has multiple costumes she can get after you beat the game. Once you get a special key, you can change her look. And Slug goes, I swear to God, man, one day I am going to make a code. I'm going to make a cheat, a code, to make all the women of Resident Evil just run around naked. And at that point, I was just like, you would, dude. You're such a fucking slug. And that's when I started calling him that. I'm like, you are slug as hell. You like video game vagina. Hey, at the time I did too. And I'm just like, you just a damn slug. And that's how the name came. That's when I started calling him that. Now, Slug King, he came up with that later on his Xbox, like I said. So, yeah, and one time he brought over Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, and he's just like, here, man, I don't have my PS1 right now, you can play. I'm like, all right, thanks. And then he brought over, this was a much earlier time, 2004. He brought over Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. He had the disc, and I know his asshole is hurting right now listening to me talk about this right now. But he brought over Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, full, all discs. And he's like, here, man, you can borrow these. I don't have a PlayStation. And I'm just like, what kind of person lends you all those Final Fantasy games like that? Those rare ones now that are like considered ultra rare now that you got to pay damnly, what, $50-$60 for now. That's your best fucking friend right there. That is your best friend, anybody who lends you that shit. And just, it was such better times, man, for us back then. I miss him like hell. We used to game a lot all the time, but, you know, we live in different states and everything, but we keep in touch. And one of my favorite memories was, because this was back when PS2 and Xbox and GameCube were still king shit on the market. There was nothing that was going to remove them at the time. So I remember I got my first PS2, and this was such a great weekend. It was the summer of 05. I got my first PS2, and then he came over, and I was playing Dynasty Warriors 4, and I just remember seeing him have this look of utter awe on his face. He's like, dude, what the fuck? And next thing I know, we were on that porch till damnly, 2, 3 in the morning playing Dynasty Warriors, and you just hear freaking warriors dying outside. I'm sure we probably got people peeking out of the windows looking down at us like, what the fuck is all that noise? But no, luckily it wasn't that bad. But and some weekends, one of my favorite weekends, I had just bought a copy of Silent Hill 2 at the early, this was during the early GameStop days, back when GameStop still had PS1 games for sale, you know, how they've fallen from glory now. But I had bought a copy of Silent Hill 2. I will never forget it. And that weekend, I was waiting to play it. I was waiting. It was Thursday. I was waiting to play it till Friday when I went up to his house up in Parma. And I wanted to play it when we got there, and I still remember it was just me and him that Friday. And I guess his parents had left somewhere. His sister was just me and him and the dogs. And we played Silent Hill 2 in the dark all Friday night. And we would get creeped the fuck out if we're on the second floor and we would hear stuff like downstairs like, dude, what the fuck was that? Like, what? I'm like, dude, that's the game. No, that wasn't the fucking game. That was downstairs. Dude, don't play like that. I hear something. Oh shit, hit pause. You know, it was crazy. Like, I'll never forget that. That was such a great memory, man. Fucking scaring ourselves half to death playing that when I first got that bad boy. I had gotten it, no, not when it came out. This was a few years or so, but it was just, it's crazy how it only takes like one gaming franchise just to build a friendship sometimes. And I got a lot of fun memories with this guy. Like I said, I miss him like hell. If you've never seen on my channel, in my earlier videos, we did like a console comparison. This video right here.
We just get some little gum looking figure guy, little bubbly head, little short body.
And he gets a little pissed off if you keep moving him around like an epilepsy.
It's about all the interaction you get.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still buy the outfits. And you can get props for them.
Yeah, but that was a while ago now. He's all freaking stubbier than Paul Bunyan, and I'm not exactly that skinny anymore. I look like a damn skeleton in Skyrim you stabbed to death in that video. Ugh. But yeah, shout out to KingSlug660, man. I just wanted to share this story. That old gaming nostalgia. It was a great summer. Great summer, and just a great gaming memory. But I hope you guys liked the video. Like and subscribe. Cross from the Basement on Facebook and on YouTube. Later, guys.